Alright guys, so up to this point we've created our site, our site's homepage. We've added the content, we've created a style sheet, and we've styled the entire front page. Now what I want to do is actually make this into a website and not just a web page. And what I mean is I want to create these pages. Up in the nav bar you'll see we have Home, About Us, Browse Developers, and Contact Us. I want to add these pages. If I click on the About Us tag now, it just takes us to about.html, but we don't actually have that file in our structure yet. And this is what we have so far. This is what we've done up to this point. Our home page, an images folder, a CSS folder with our style sheet that we just completed. So what I want to do right now is I want you to go to your project files, chapter 2, section 4, and go to project files, parts. Now open up page outline. Now this page outline is what we can use to create new pages. And let me just open it up. Actually, you know what? First thing I want to do, copy everything from the page outline.html. Okay? Now open a new folder, a new file, paste that in, and let's save as. And you can save it wherever you've been saving stuff. Mine was on my desktop, and it was in Blue Developer. And I'm going to save it in the root directory, the same place as index.html, and I'm going to call this about.html. And don't forget to choose HTML as your type. Where are you? There he is. Alright. And I'm going to close out the rest of these. So you'll see now I have an about.html. And what this page is everything except the main content. Let me actually open it. Open it in the browser. And you'll see it's everything but the actual content. So we can use this as a shell for all of our pages. And actually, if we go back to our home page, and if you now click on About Us, it'll take you to the page we just created, which is about.html. So now we can just add our about text, and I'm going to do that now. So what we got to do is we got to get the content that we want to put right here, right where it says content here. So go to your project files, section 4, project file, parts, and I've created these content pages, and these are not complete web pages. These are just the content for the main part of each page. So if you click on About Content HTML, you want to copy everything here. Okay, copy it from about content.html, and then put it in your about HTML that you're building now, right where it says content here, and a comment. Alright, so now we can save this and go back to visit the about page, and now we have our about content. And the content is just all stuff we've done, H2s, H3, paragraph, very, very simple. This is the simplest page on the site. So, now we have our about page, our home page. So the next thing I want to do is the Browse Developers page. If you go there now, you'll see it, browse.html. It's not here. So what I want you to do now is create a new file, and let's save it. Save it in wherever you're building the site along with me, and save it as browse.html. And you want to make sure that you choose HTML if you're using Notepad, and you want to save it in the same place that you save the index and the about HTML pages. So now that page is created, you can actually see if you go to Browse Developers on the site, it takes you to a blank page. So what we want to do now is we want to add the shell, the outline again. So go back to your project files, and this is in section 4, project files, Blue Web Developer parts, and you want the page outline. This is that shell that we used for the About Us page. So save it, copy everything, go back to your Browse HTML page and paste it. Save it, and now let's see what we have. If we go to Browse, once again we have our shell. So we can keep on adding pages like this, with this using the same header and menus. So if you scroll down on Browse HTML, you'll see the content here comment, and we want to grab that now. So go to your parts folder again and go to browse content.html. And what this is this is the table that we created in chapter 1 with the developers and their locations and so forth. So we want to grab everything and copy it, and then we want to go back to browse.html and we want to paste that right here where it says content here. Okay, so now we save that and reload, and we have the table. It doesn't look perfect yet. We have a couple of things we need to do to it to style it a little better. So let's do that now. Now if you're following along, this is what your structure should look like right now. We have About, Browse, Index, and then we have the CSS and Images folder. So right now I want to bring up our style sheet. Whoops, I didn't mean to open that in NetBeans. Sorry about that. Let me just get out of this. We want to open this. Well, I want to open this with Notepad++. You can use whatever you want. And these are all the styles that we created in the last section. So we want to look at this table. We want to look at this table and figure out what we need to do to it. And wait 1 second. Just gotta check something. Alright, so first thing I want to do is I want to margin out some stuff. I want to zero out some stuff. So I'm going to take the table row, the table data or table column, and the table heading, and I just want to zero out all those margins. Now if you save and reload, you'll see there's no more margin auto. It's all zeroed out, so that's good. Now the next thing I want to do is add a little bit of padding to just the table. So we'll say table, and I want to do 10 pixels top and bottom, and I want to do 0 left and right. Save, reload, and we just added a little padding to each table. There's 2 tables. So now let's take the headings, which is name, city, skills. We're going to take those are TH, those are table headings, and let's text align center. I like the headings to be centered. And next we want to take the table data, which is a table column, and add some padding. We want to do 5 pixels on top, 20 pixels on the right. Right. 5 pixels on the bottom, 20 pixels on the right. Now this, I could have just did the same thing I did here. Let me just show you. So top and bottom 5 pixels, left and right 20 pixels. This is the exact same. This is the exact same as this. It's just a shorthand way of doing it. This way it would be top, right, bottom, left, and this way would be top and bottom, left and right. So I'll just keep it this way. So save that, reload. Now another thing I want to do is I want to get rid of these underlines for these links. And now that I think about it, I don't want any links to have underlines. So we can actually declare that for all links by just using the A tag. So, and then that would be text decoration none. Now save, reload, and now we have no more lines. Alright, so we're almost done here. One thing I want to do is I want to increase the font in this table, but I don't want to increase the font on, I mean, I could just do this. I could just go here and say font size, oops, say 110%, save, reload, and it increased the font size, but that will be to all table, all TD, all table column. So I don't want to do that. I want to single it out. Reload. So if we go back to browse HTML, you'll see, one second, you'll see the table has a class of dev table. So that's what we want to grab to style these two particular tables. Both tables should have that. So we want to go back, and I'm going to go to the bottom and do it. And I want to change the font size for all elements of the table, which would be the TR, the TD. So I'm going to grab something and I'm just going to paste this. And this has given us access to the table itself, the table rows, the table columns, and the table headings. So we're going to increase the font size, and I want the size to be dynamic to the font. I don't want it to say a certain amount of pixels. So I'm just going to say 110%. Save. Now all of the elements are now bigger, 110%. And the last thing I want to do to these elements is I want to add a border on the bottom, and I want it to be dashed, and we'll say we want it to be black. Save, reload. Oh, we're going to do 1 pixel. Save. And there we go. It's starting to take shape. So if I go, I don't know what this double line must be. We must have an empty row or something. Well, it looks good. Huh. Can't see what that you know what? I think it's because, let's actually take this out and let's put it just for the table rows and the table columns. Okay. Alright, indent that, save, let's reload. And there we go. We got rid of that double column. It's just because we had a bottom border on the actual tables themselves. So the last thing we need to do now is to create our contact page. We have the developer table, we have the about page, the home page. So now just open a new file, create a new file, and save it wherever you've been doing the project. Wherever your files are, whether it's in the actual project files structure that came with the video, or wherever you're doing it. I'm doing it on my desktop in a folder called, if I can find it, Blue Developer. And we're going to save this as contact.html. Choose HTML. Alright, so save that. Let's see if it's linked here. Yep. So we get the contact.html page, and you probably know what's next. You want to go and get that outline folder. that comes with the project files, parts, page outline, and copy that, copy everything in it, paste it in the contact page, save. Now if we go to contact, we have that shell. Now we just have to add the content here, and you can get that in the project files in the contact_content.html file. And as you probably guessed, this is the form that we created back in chapter 1. So you can see how all the little projects, they're all coming together to make this one website. Let's copy that, and we want to paste that right where it says content here. Alright, so let's save that, see what we got, and here's our form. And you'll see it's not perfect. We have just a couple things we need to do to it before it's ready. So let's go to the style CSS. I'm going to close out the rest of my pages, and let's look at it. The first thing I notice is that the labels aren't the same width. So we have this input box back here, these two are up ahead, so I want these all to line up. So we want to do that on the label element. So, and we'll just do I believe these are the only labels on the website, so we don't have to pinpoint which label it is. We'll just do it for just global labels. And what we want to do is, one second, we want to display, we want to do an inline block, and then we just want to add a width of 150 pixels. Save that, reload, and that looks much better. Alright, so that's that. We have the contact page complete. We have the browse developers tables, the about page, the home page. So the site has really come together, and in the next few chapters we'll be introducing some new HTML5 methods and strategies and add upon this site, as well as some other projects.